Hello, my name's Lucas. Welcome to my monthly wrap-up of the month of April. So let me be real honest and say I stumbled upon Booktube when I was just searching through YouTube, and I was like, oh my god, people do this? I was like, I have to do it. So here I am. For the month of April, I read a total of 8 books. 5, 3 is 8. I'm really good at math. Let's talk about book numero uno. It is called Enclave. It is by Anne Aguirre. It is the first book in the Razorland series. Now, I know you may be thinking to yourself, what the heck is this guy doing? He's like really old and reading like little kid books. But I love it. I love young adult. So sue me. The thing is the action is whoosh, 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 so fast paced. I love that it captures my ADD. And usually these books are in a series form, and for me, I never want my adventures to ever end, so the fact that they continue on and on is awesome. So anyways, back to Enclave. So this book was awesome. It got 5.0 hearts. That's as high as it can go, and yes, I give hearts because I love you. So this book follows a world that has been ravaged, and people are now living underground in what is known as enclaves, hence the title. So there's these little towns basically in the subways and the sewers that these people live. And they have their own belief system because it's been so long that they don't know how we used to live. So the book follows a character by the name of Deuce. And all the characters in the book have really unique names, and one of my favorite parts is how they actually get the names. It's a very small portion of the book, but it's something that was very cool to me, so I hope it's really cool to you. But the book itself follows Deuce and her journeys as she leaves the Enclave. Why, I'm not going to tell you, and she must survive topside. And it's very, very good. I'm so deep into the post-apocalyptic dystopian realm that this is perfect for me. And I can't wait to read the next one. So check it out. The second book I will be discussing is called Article 5. It's by Kristen Simmons. It is the first book in the Article 5 series. Very, very original name for a series, I know. So this story is pretty cool. It got a 3.5 hearts. I wish it could have been a little bit better. This book follows a girl by the name of Ember, and I hate her. She is just not cool. I hate her character. I hate the way she talks. I hate the way she acts. I just do not like her. So that is why, a big reason why this got the low score it did. 3.5 hearts. The only reason it got anything above 2 is because I like the character Chase and I like the world. Although the world takes a huge, huge backseat to the romance, and the romance is terrible. But the world is very, very neat because you have this government that's taken over and they have all these rules now. And it follows Ember as she is breaking one of the rules that she didn't even realize. They just start coming down harder, but it's called Article 5. And you kind of find more about what they can and cannot do, and they go on the run. And she's put into a rehabilitation center and kind of follows her. I don't want to give too much away, but check it out, I guess. I mean, it's fun to talk about. I just wish it had so much potential. And I'm kind of sad that it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. But beggars can't be choosers. What does that mean in this sense? All right. And number 3 is Breaking Point by Kristen Simmons. Hey, guess what? It's the second book in the Article 5 series. And this book, you know what it got? That's how I drum roll with my tongue. Just so you ladies know. Anyways, it got a 4.5 hearts. 4.5! This book was the book that I wished that the first one would have been. It doesn't really rely all on Ember and Chase. New characters come into play, and because it doesn't really ride on their shoulders, it's a little bit better. The other characters I was really engaged with, the action was much faster paced, and it left me intrigued and made me really want to read the next one. So definitely, if you can get through that first Article 5, this book for me was the tipping point that said, hey, I want to continue this series and not give up on it and see what the heck happens in number 3. And to finish this series, and number 4 on my list, is the book 3, again by Kristen Simmons, and the final of the Article 5 series. Now, in this book, everything's kind of wrapped up nicely. I mean, there's a nice little bow, but it's predictable. So that doesn't make me excited when it's predictable to me. It's a little slower paced. Now, the world building in the second and third book are so much better. The first book, but although the third book got a same score of 3.5 hearts. But anyways, I'm intrigued with this book because, hey, we want to figure out who's the mastermind behind everything. And then when you find out, you're just like, oh, it's really underwhelming, and it's just like, oh, could you do something else? Could you just make me excited and not wrap it up so neatly and nice? But it's a cool series. I mean, it's very imaginative. Again, the world building is nice. It's definitely worth a read if you want to talk about post-apocalyptic books. I think it's right there along with a lot of them in this genre and in this reading level, but it could have been better. And now, number 5 was, I think, my favorite book that I read this month. It is called, and I don't even know if I say this right, it's called Cahatal. I'm going to say Cahatal. Anyways, it is the first book in the Apocalypsis series by L. Casey. And guess what? If it's my favorite, you guessed it. 5 hearts. Heart. This book follows Bryn in another post-apocalyptic world where it's ravaged by something. And that's the only reason I kind of was on the fence about my rating, is because it's weird and you don't really know what happened. And I hope I figure out later. But anyways, Bryn is left after all the adults in the world just disappear. For whatever reason, they just die. And I still don't get it. So, but anyways, she is trying to survive, and it tells that story. And there's a cast of characters that are likable. Bryn's character is one of my favorites. She's just a sarcastic little girl. She's crude, and I love when people are crude. So it really hit home for me. Like, I love the jokes, and I think a lot of people would be offended to some of the things she says, and maybe that's why I like it more, because I don't like things. It seemed more real life to me, we'll say that. I think a lot of personalities in books are just that. They're very fiction. But this one, man, me and her, we could be best friends. But you should definitely check it out. I mean, it is cool. And it's very, very underrated. Not a lot of people know about it. There's not a lot of ratings on the book. And I picked it up because I like the cover. She's got a little hood on, and she looks like a little badass. Anyways, check it out. And if you don't, I'll check you out. What? Number 6 on my book list of read material is Graceling by Kristen Kishore. This book is awesome. 5 stars. What? I don't give stars. 5 hearts. It follows Katza, not to be confused with Katniss from Hunger Games. Yeah, you know her. Anyways, it follows her, and she's just a badass. The whole story is just wonderful. There's different races of people. There's the graced. There's the leaned. There's the world building is wonderful. Her character is just so cool, and it just gets me really, really excited. And I love it. I fell in love with all the characters. I was just so into this book, and you have to check it out. And if you don't, yeah, elbow drop to the face. God, I'm mean. And then, number 7 on the list, because I loved Graceling so much, I said, hey, let me read the second in the series, which is Fire, again by Kristen Kishore. Now, it sucked. It sucked, super sucked. 2.5 hearts. And why I'm just so frustrated, I mean, it's a great written book. It's cool. I like some of the characters, but they're different characters. It's like a prequel. Don't make this number 2 in a series if it's a prequel. So I just feel like it's a cop-out because I fell in love with all the characters of Gracing, and I'm like, let me see what's next. Oh my goodness. And then none. 0 characters. Well, there's 1. But it's just like, why do you make me fall in love with something and then write something that has only 1 character and it's not even a character that matters, really? So it's just a little upsetting. So I'm just going to really let that sink in. I still think you should read it because apparently the next book, which I just started, Bitter Blue, ties it all up nicely. But don't do that to me, Kristen. Don't write a book and then get me to fall in love with characters only to write another one that has none. 2.5 tears, not hearts. And my final book that I read this month is the second book of the Maze Runner series. It is called Scorch Trials. And I loved the Maze Runner. I was okay. The movie, if you've seen it, well, it's just whatever. But this book was cool. 4.5 hearts. So this follows, again, Thomas and his people as they have now escaped the maze, and they are outside in the world, and they realize what has happened in the world is a disease called the flare, and now they have to survive to their next checkpoint and do this with people who are infected by the flare, which are called cranks, chasing them and pursuing them, and they have to try to figure out what to do. And it's good. I mean, it's a very, very good book. I dug it. You really should check this out. So I've done it. My very first review. I feel like there should be like party poppers and streamers and balloons. I did really good. I mean, I am really good at this. So if you don't follow me, why are you here? Why are you alive? You need to follow. You need to be best friends with me. We can talk books all day, day. You know what I mean? We need to have some fun to do. Yeah, let's have fun. So if you think I should read a book, like, let me know. That's fun for me too. And then I'll like read it and then I'll talk about it because I'm really good at talking. So we'll see you next time. That's how I'm going to sign off forever.